Joining us to talk about all this is Antoni Trenchev, co-founder and managing director of London-based crypto lender Nexo. He correctly called, I guess it's got to be over a year ago, Antoni. Just at the beginning of 2020, you said it would hit 50,000 by the end of the year. Now we're trading at 64,000. How high do you think Bitcoin could go? Can you give us another forecast for, say, 2021 or 2022?
Well, now that we have pierced through 60,000, I think we have cleared the way to 75,000. My prediction would be in the next 12 to 18 months, we're going to hit $100,000 per Bitcoin. Not as quickly as what we saw in terms of rallies last year, because, everybody is now in on the trade. And, usually that's not such a smooth ride. But now that we've pierced through 60K, the air has been cleared.
Antoni, I wonder what you think about the $100 billion... Sorry, Yousef, I think we're probably going to ask a similar question. The $100 billion valuation of Coinbase must make you consider raising more money for your business. I mean, you've been so successful with Nexo. You started a lot of services early, far before other providers did. What kind of interest are you getting?
Well, a lot of traction recently, specifically from the United States, which interestingly coincided with the distribution of the latest round of free money. But at Nexo, we have been very proud to have a self-sustainable business, meaning that our Earn product, which gives you the means to earn interest on your idle assets, and the crypto-backed loans have, something close to what Coinbase is getting.
Antoni, I wonder with policy priorities, what the administration's stance is going to be towards Bitcoin. What is your read and what have you been hearing?
Well, I tend to focus on the longer stream of events, and we got a very positive sign from the Department of Treasury when they allowed last year U.S. banks to hold Bitcoin in custody. PayPal coming in, a lot of the other guys, which show us these are not rebel companies. These are companies that compliantly operate wherever they are. Now, with the Biden administration, I think crypto is here to stay. There's no question about that. Obviously, anti-money laundering policies have to be in place, akin to what we see in the banking sector. And we have to see about the energy consumption, which is not a standalone problem for Bitcoin, that it consumes a lot of energy, but it's a question of how energy gets produced for any sector, really. And I think these are going to be the challenges. But whatever happens is going to be just a bump on the road. Longer-term perspective, crypto is here to stay, and we're still...
BOC, they're working on their own digital currencies. To what extent is that a threat for the remainder of crypto, that sort of mainstream comes up with their own form of crypto?
Well, there will be like you have the US dollar and you have gold. They're very different type of assets. That's the same thing with centrally controlled and issued currencies, which are just bringing fiat currencies to the 21st century in terms of technology. But then fundamentally, there's going to be an ever-increasing place for scarce assets such as Bitcoin, which we've been talking about. This is gold 2.0. So very different niches, and they can exist simultaneously rather than compete with one another.
It always gets me when someone complains that Bitcoin is used for money laundering or the drug business, and then I think about the amount of money laundering that's done or drugs that are purchased with the US dollar. It's just a silly comparison. Lately, I've been thinking the same thing about the carbon footprint issue. A lot of concerns, understandably, about the carbon footprint of mining Bitcoin. On the other hand, the US dollar has a pretty darn big carbon footprint as well. How do you think about the ESG issues surrounding Bitcoin?
I think about the in terms of how do we produce energy, and that obviously with the growth rate of population, of economies, the constant consumption, we have to find a holistic answer to it, and China has to be in on it as well, because without them and the US, you know, whatever we do is just another drop in the sea. I don't see, you know, with every bull cycle of Bitcoin, there's certain narratives they're trying to spread FUD, you know, fear, uncertainty, and doubt into the minds of investors. This latest round is going to be the Green Deal. Obviously very important, but so it is for the automobile industry, so it is for air travel. It is not Bitcoin specific. It has to be addressed as a general issue affecting every aspect of human life.
I mean, with the amount of momentum, not just behind Bitcoin, but behind the crypto space at this minute, your business must be doing quite well. Can you qualify and quantify that for our global audience? Where are we at?
Sure. Well, Nexo is a financial institution which provides banking services to the blockchain space. Right now, we have an excess of $15 billion of assets under management. You know, the two lines are predominantly the crypto-backed loans, which allows you to tap in to your crypto wealth without selling it. And then we offer the ability to earn up to 12% per year, which in this low yield environment and compared to what your JP Morgan account or Bank of America is yielding, is quite enticing. We are also tapping into the exchange space as of recently with our internal exchange. So, you know, we see double-digit growth of users. We have more than 1 million active users, and it's been a stellar rise.
Antoni, I think a lot of your customers as well feel like real stakeholders in the business, and that's why I'm wondering, you know, how close you are to going public, to giving them an actual share in the company. You know, I love that Coinbase is doing a direct listing rather than an IPO, so you don't have to be a bigwig and get syndicate. You can actually buy in with everybody else. Don't you think Nexo customers want a same chance to own a piece of the business that you started?
Well, we already have made steps in that direction, in the sense that we have our native Nexo token, which entitles you to a portion of Nexo's profits, 30% of it. We are now launching a governance element to it, and a governance token where the holders of the native asset, which is even easier to do than a direct listing or an IPO, they already have a say in the way that Nexo is being run. So we are ahead of the curve here. With regards to more traditional, you know, approach to public accessibility, we are obviously evaluating all options. Let's see how Coinbase goes and what happens the day after, you know, whether we're going to see some pullback and how they perform. But you know, at the end of the day, you can't expect to be drinking champagne in the evening if you're afraid of the hangover in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfume going in, garbage coming out. That's what my dad always told me. Antoni, thanks so much for joining us. Antoni Trenchev there, Nexo co-founder and managing director. Really fascinating company there, Yousef, and one of the first to offer credit, really, for crypto holders to offer big whales, for example, a way to get exposure, Yousef, without having to necessarily liquidate positions.
Yeah, I am a bit skeptical, though, about the amount of upside we've seen in the last few days in Bitcoin. So that's going to be one we're going to watch carefully as we count down to that big listing.
The last 10 years,
meantime,
right?
Here's what's...
People are always skeptical. When it hit 1,000, I remember, you know, Joe Weisenthal was like, "You're crazy, man." And, you know, then we hit 17,000, 20,000 in 2017.
I'm not saying that
now 60
I'm not
again.
saying I'm skeptical on the whole thing. I'm just saying that skeptical in the next few days, and then it will potentially resume and pick up where it left off. And then it's also way too early for me to be drinking champagne, although he did say that comes in the evening. Anyway, I'm you know, all over the place here. Let's get you a bit of a preview of what's coming up.